Okay, so I'm going to speak to you, and it's going to be a little different because I'm going to be speaking from my testimony. So I'll go ahead and say remain. Good afternoon. I am Esther Cox, and I'm honored to speak to you on the topic of remaining committed. Being committed to the Lord means being dedicated to knowing, obeying, and serving Him. This can be extremely difficult at times, especially when we're facing a season of disappointment or pain. I want to share with you what I've learned and encourage you to choose to remain committed to the Lord. On October 3rd of 2022, many of you have heard, my husband Daniel had a 5-gallon gas tank explode in his arms, leaving him with 3rd to 4th degree burns on over 55% of his body. When things like this happen, we as humans are so quick to question God. I know I was like, why him? Why such a wonderful, loving husband? Even so, our God is sovereign. I had a choice to make because anger, frustration, bitterness, and doubt were all waiting for me to falter. Thankfully, I have seen the faithfulness of God in my life, and I knew that the best choice I could make would be to run to the arms of Jesus. One day when the first week after the accident, I took the kids out on a walk for some normalcy, and I silently said to the Lord, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to provide for our family? Just letting my heart be known to him where I was at. And he spoke to my spirit, and he said, you have relied on Daniel for so much, for so long. It's time to rely and trust in me. Talk about peace that passes understanding. I knew in that moment that I just had to simply choose to trust him and that he would see us through it all. Some challenges that I faced. I felt torn between wanting to be with Daniel and needing to be there for my 3 children. I feared that it would change who Daniel was inside, and it would steal the joy that our family once had. After 40 days, I got to bring him home, and I became his full-time nurse. I spent about 3 hours each day bathing him and dressing his wounds, and after a while it lessened, and it became 2 hours of scar massaging and helping him to get into his compression garments every evening after the kids were in bed. This was our routine for 2 years. Countless medical bills came rolling in, one in particular, about $2.8 million. Throughout all of this, I was determined to be committed to the Lord, to the role he had called me to play, and to trust that he was at work. I needed to be in his presence now more than ever. I searched the scriptures to remind myself who he says he is: our healer, our provider, our comforter, our peace, our strength, our restorer, and so much more. Some scriptures that I clung to were Psalm 46:1, God is our refuge and strength, our ever-present help in times of trouble. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Lean not on your own understanding, Esther. Ephesians 3:20 identifies him as able to do immeasurably more than we could ask or imagine. Romans 8:28 reminded me that he was working all things for our good. Isaiah 40:31, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. I spent lots of time in worship. This built up my faith and caused me to reflect on the countless times that he had shown himself faithful throughout my life. And I clung tightly to the words he spoke to me on that walk. I want to talk to you now about the fruit of having remained committed. As we focused on God's faithfulness, our faith increased, and we gained a deeper revelation than we had previously had of his love for us. This brought us to a place of gratitude and healing. We were encouraged by the way he used his people to cover us in prayer and meet so many of our needs. We had peace when we chose to trust the Lord with our finances and strength to continue on the journey of healing. On April 26th of 2022, we found out that God had completely taken care of every penny of that $2.8 million bill. And as in Isaiah 61, he gave us beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, and the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, more than we could ask for. I believe that no matter what season we are in, maybe it's needing healing, maybe it's waiting for the salvation of loved ones, maybe it's for provision, restoration of relationships, or the loss of a loved one, or maybe pressing through a place of stagnant faith. Making the choice to remain committed to the Lord gives us the best possible outcome.